Hello YouTube, I'm Vince White. I'm an employment attorney on this channel. We answer publicly posted questions from YouTube users, getting folks the answers they need from an employment attorney. We've got a question here from Frank Ruzica, I5Z. YouTube user Frank Ruzica, I5Z, who asked us, I got back to UPS, I assume United Postal Service, after breaking my ankle. I did months of therapy. First day back, the dispatcher sent me out on an 11-hour day. I went in the second day, and I had another 10-plus hour day. My doctor said, nope, you are re-injured. Took 3 months to get back to the level I was at. Doctor said he could not believe it. Got it. Frank, first and foremost, that sucks. I'm really sorry that happened to you. Got a question for you, though. Did you ask for reasonable accommodation? Did your doctor write you a reasonable accommodation letter? Because my understanding of UPS is that 10, 11-hour days, especially in the holiday season, are fairly standard. So, and I say that only because I've handled a bunch of cases against UPS, so we have a lot of experience kind of knowing how UPS operates, at least in certain jurisdictions, certain states, that kind of thing. So, I think you might verify. You might say it's accurate to say that 10, 11-hour days at UPS are somewhat common, perhaps to be expected. So if you had a reasonable accommodation letter saying, hey, you need shortened days or a lightened workload or whatever it is, and they didn't honor it, there could be a claim there. If you did not have a reasonable accommodation letter, then it is possible UPS did nothing wrong. Right? They can't magically know what you need. Not to be a jerk about this, but like giant company, giant uncaring monolithic entity of capitalism, they're not going to have the wisdom, the attention to detail to say, Frank Ruzico was out with a broken ankle for months. So when he comes back, we should give him a light workload. It's going to be outside the capabilities of most middle managers in most lines of work. I'm just being honest, right? Even if they're capable, they're probably going to be a little uncaring, so they're not going to do it. The way you protect yourself, you get that reasonable accommodation letter from your doctor being like, hey, I have a disability. My ankle is injured, needs accommodations. Just came back from PT. Need a lightened workload or whatever it is. You know, like maybe you can't lift anything over 200 pounds. I don't know, right? It's between you and your doctor. You and your doctor determine what accommodations you need, not me. Now, take that letter in. Listen, UPS could say, hey, this is not reasonable. We take issue with this. We can't do this. They'd have to engage in a reasonable accommodation dialogue to see what they could do for you. Or they might just say, yeah, that's reasonable. We can definitely do that. You need a 7-hour workday. Nice and light, keep you from getting re-injured, let's do it. But either way, you got to ask. If you don't ask, it's going to be hard to assume they magically know. There's other ways they could know, right? If they're on notice, if something happens where, you know, they're made aware that you have an ankle injury and you need an accommodation, fair game. You might still be covered. You might still have a claim. But the best way to have a claim here, best way to protect yourself is when you're going back to work with a disability or even just rehabbing an injury, which could be a disability under federal and state law, local law as well potentially, get your reasonable accommodation letter in and say, this is what I need. It's going to activate a bunch of protections for you, a bunch of rights. It's going to require the employer to engage in that reasonable accommodation dialogue, which is a dialogue about getting you the accommodations you need, and if they're reasonable, how can they be made reasonable? What can we do? How can we make this viable for you to work here? So on, so forth, right? If you didn't have that, Frank, puts you in a tough spot. Now listen, between you and me, I still want you to get paid. So I'm hoping you can make an argument if you didn't have that they should have known you had a disability. Clearly, I'm going to side with you over UPS. 99.9 times out of 100. Maybe 999 times out of 1,000, right? That being said, I definitely want you to actually have a claim that could actually hold water and could win the day, right? So my hope is you didn't have it last time. This time when you go back with a reasonable accommodation letter. Also, I hope that ankle of yours is brand new. I hope it's as good as new. I hope it's doing good. I hope you're healing up. I hope you get paid in this claim. And I hope that you sometime next year say, that Vince White guy, he's sure funny looking. He's a bit of an asshole, but he helped me. And I feel pretty good about that because I am funny looking and I am a bit of an asshole, but I hope I helped. If I did help, like, subscribe, comment down below, share the channel so we can grow. Thanks, Frank. Good luck. Feel better.